It was just such an unbelievable night. Now, why are we being thankful for Dave Portnoy? That is a much better question that you guys should already know the answer to. But my feeling is you are new and you have not been around since the beginning of this. You haven't heard the stories about me and Dave going way, way back. Was that all the? Yeah, that was everything in the North End. Oh my God, what a great night. What a great night. And I really needed that because it's been crazy. Everything's been going nuts around here. But why are we talking about being thankful for Dave? Because I am so thankful for that man, Davey Dipshit, political Dave Portnoy, because if we are going to be brainwashed, which we will be many, many times in this life, I am so thankful that I was only brainwashed by that motherfucker for so long because he is a dummy. Dipshit Dave. Dave the dipshit. I hope that catches on. But I was the dummy, right? That's what this all comes down to. I was a moron for spending so much of my time and energy invested in whatever it was Dave was trying to distract me with, that for a long time in Boston, how could you not be brainwashed? As Boston was winning championship after championship, sports were the center of the world. So Boston gets to be the first city that moves on and transcends from sports. That's what I think Dave Portnoy was missing. Now, that is what I was trying to explain to him 1 year ago when I met with him at his 20th anniversary party to pitch him Saturday Night Live, a recreation, because that was the show I personally most wanted to see. Having grown up from 2004 to 2014 in his fucking cult, understanding that it was brainwashing and attention sucking, and having moved on from it myself and being thankful for the understanding that it gave me, of course, I wanted to return to him to create the show that I could only imagine in my dreams. Could you imagine 1 year ago if we started working on Saturday Night Live and Shane Gillis was the first host of it? Shane Gillis, who's on the moon right now, who had to go back and host the show in some sort of weird amalgamation of an apology and also not an apology whatsoever from the institution, that being a comedic institution, Saturday Night Live, that's been around for 50, 75 years, I believe, who is too big to apologize, yet they will admit their mistake in not hiring you, considering the height with which you've now reached. What if Barstool was the corporation that launched that comedic show that actually attacked politics and the theater with which it is playing out in real time? What if they used independent journalists reporting on the news as it was happening in real time and leveraged their relationships with comedians to inform the public in a comedic fashion like Saturday Night Live used to do for the nation? That was what I was trying to pitch to Dave Portnoy as a friend, because I understand you are a cult leader. As I stood there in the middle of your 20th anniversary celebration of yourself and all of the things that you accomplished allegedly, for what? In the middle of a city for the last 20 years that had been falling apart, you self-described by the common man for the common man. Sir, you only have two things of value to me. It is that title and your audience. Other than that, you are a salesman, sir. Sure, it might be a real expensive suit. Sure, you might have 100, 200, $300 million for distracting people, but people are waking up to exactly what it is that you're in, the business of eyeballs. Okay, Dave Portnoy? I can be your worst enemy, but that is never my intention. That's why I came back to you first before I started this whole thing. So Dave Portnoy Appreciation Day is a sign of my gratitude for brainwashing me so that I could learn how to brainwash myself with my own choosing, right? And intention to end up in a reality that I chose for myself. I knew how to create that reality because I watched you, Dave. I watched you do it for 20 years. And I took notes. And I'm real good at taking notes. I am nothing if I am not a student. So as a student of the game coming up in Boston, Danvers, Salem, Peabody, those all right up a butt next to Swampscott, Massachusetts, where Dave Portnoy started his ascent to these crazy heights, and certainly the head of Boston media for at least a decade, maybe two, if we're being honest. But I am the one to ride into town telling you the sun is setting on that empire because the people have woken up. The city is crumbling, and no amount of Red Sox or Patriots or Celtics championships can hide that fact, from the people, the common people trying to go into dunks and not die every day as they get through 3 jobs so that they can put their groceries on a credit card because inflation is crushing them. This ain't exactly my first rodeo, Dave. There are very few people in this life with the operational expertise and understanding on how to create a show as complex as Saturday Night Live, dealing with all of the egos in the room while still serving the greater public. I was one of the few people that can do it, and I implore you to go find another. I hope you do, because it will not be me anymore, Dave. Political Dave Portnoy, I just can't do it anymore. It was so hard for me to just summon up the energy to continue down this path because I had this conversation with you 6 months ago and you still didn't do anything. Nobody's reached out. How many people walk up to you and hand you a blueprint, literally written in blue ink? The exact same one that Walt Disney drew of Disney World before he fucking did it. I don't know what those numbers are, but you claim to know everything about everyone right off the bat, right? That's what gave you the ability to understand that Pat McAfee, Alex Cooper, Dan Katz, Kevin Clancy, these were all going to be people somewhere that entertained or sucked eyeballs in some way, shape, or form. You thought I wasn't one of those people as I dressed up like a pirate inside your black tie affair and said, "Is this a pirate ship? Are you not by the common man for the common man?" You said you were, sir, and I believed you. Well, I'm here to tell you things got twisted. A lot happens in those 20 years of building that, whatever it is you want to call it, organization, institution. I know what it really is, and therefore I am the only one with the ability to destroy you, and I don't want to. I would much rather be your friend. I would much rather learn from you. I would much rather take this ship and steer it a little closer to the direction that I'm already headed in and utilize whatever momentum you already have going for you to help achieve the ends with which I am trying to achieve. And the reason that I have no more energy to spend trying to convince you is because I am already having success in that. So thank you, Dave Portnoy, for everything you did for me. I'm going to celebrate that every year, August 23rd, 20th anniversary of Dave Portnoy's Barstool Sports. First anniversary of me recognizing that I have to create my own reality just like you did. Instead of trying to convince you to fucking give me a paycheck to work my ass off and do it anyways. We're going to do things a little different from here on out. Not just me, the whole world. The reason that I know that is because people are starting to ask me questions. I have no social credit in the United States, but a social credit score is very much implemented. That's why I can know so many goddamn things and disseminate so much wisdom and information that applies under all circumstances, which is invaluable. And still nobody will take notice. I've been able to predict the future for a significant portion of time now. A significant portion of me being alive, and I chose not to use that to enrich myself personally, but instead to find a way to serve others. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what Saturday Night Live was. And that's what people are starting to pick up on now. because a young man from Canada, just 22 years old, started asking me about one of my tweets just yesterday. What was it? Jesus Christ, I have so many notes. Dave, I have so many notes for you. The last thing, before we get into this tweet and continue on our consciousness talk on why we don't have time to spend with Dave anymore, Dave, I will not um, be the director or whatever, producer of any more Saturday Night Live broadcast hosted by or produced by Barstool Sports. I do believe it is an avenue worth pursuing. I think you are in a particularly perfect position to leverage the assets that you already have in place, as well as the relationships with which you have already built with comedians, the inroads, and independent journalist Kevin Clancy. I'm looking at you for talking about Michael Schellenberger, who we will get into later, and only asking him about aliens and then never following up on him with anything. You already have all the relationships in place, Dave. That's why I came to you. You're in the perfect position. I hope you continue to do it. But if you want my help with anything, the only way I'm going to help you is if you take my happiness 6-hour class, 6 individual hour longs, money back guarantee. You will be 5% happier at the end of it, or your money back. First session's free. Cost is one haircut, whatever one haircut is for you. That way I can help people of all incomes. All right, buddy. And I haven't ran into a bald person yet. So we'll have to come up with another price model for them when we come into it. But I am willing to do that for you, Dave, if you're willing to adhere to my model and system, because I think a 5% change in you would have an unbelievable impact on society. I'm willing to spend that time with you, just like I was willing to continue the conversation with that 22-year-old. And what was that tweet?